Hello, the Big D is live this Tuesday evening. First off, thank you to the Driving to the Top Productions for letting me stream the multiple platforms. Usually, you see me on. Usually, I'm streaming just on the Smoky Spectrum Sports YouTube page, but tonight I'm streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, the Driving to the Top Production, and my YouTube page. So, welcome. So check me out. I am the host of the Big D podcast. Check me out there. Also, if you're an audio listener, check us out Spotify and Apple, and check out my YouTube work on the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page. Well, you know what? Everybody's got a mock draft. Mel Kiper's got a mock draft. Daniel Jeremiah's got a mock draft. I think Field Yates has got a mock draft. Peter Schrager's got a mock draft. Everybody's got a mock draft. And everybody's wondering, Dylan, when are you going to have a mock draft? When are you going to have a mock draft? Well, tonight I'm going to reveal my first round mock draft. Now, this isn't how it's going to go down next Thursday night in Detroit, but I thought we tried because it'd be fascinating just to see how the draft works, see how we could work. Because I do have a couple trades in the top five because seemingly quarterbacks are the big talk around draft day. Which quarterbacks are going where will a team move up for a quarterback? Because every year a quarterback seems to really exceed expectation. Every year there's one good quarterback. Last year you could argue C.J. Stroud was that guy, and Bryce Young looked like he couldn't even play in the NFL. Who's going to be the Andrew Luck, the Peyton Manning of this draft? Well, here we go. Now, let me see if I can share the screen. So, I'm going to use the NFL Mock Draft Simulator, NFL Mock Draft database here. So, obviously, I don't have 32 people with me, so I'm just going to be the GM for all 32 teams and see how well I do, because I think it's fun going through this exercise and seeing what players are available. How would you fare? How would you draft you with the GM? If I were Ryan Poles of this team, or Washington GM, or New England GM. Maybe a team moves up, maybe a team moves back. It's just fascinating how this draft changes based on the information available. So obviously, I will start the draft. So now the Chicago Bears are on the clock, and unless somebody's been hiding under a rock the past 3.5 months, well, the Bears are not going to trade the 101 this year, unlike last year where they received the Kings' ransom for Bryce Young. The Chicago Bears are going to draft their quarterback in the future. I don't think Chicago will take the whole 10 minutes. Chicago will take Caleb Williams. Obviously, Caleb Williams is the best quarterback of this draft. Sorry, Jaden Daniels. Sorry, Drake May. Sorry, J.J. McCarthy. Sorry, Bo Nix. Sorry, Michael Penix. But Caleb Williams is the guy the Bears are going to hope is their franchise quarterback. I know what Caleb did his last 2 years. Lead the NFL and lead college football in passing. It's without a lot of great personnel on offense. Yeah, Jordan Addison in 22, but USC didn't have a true number one receiver this year. The offensive line was less than stellar, and USC couldn't stop a nosebleed on defense. And yes, people will say, "Do you care about the pink cell phone or the nail? I mean, the cell phone, the nails." You know what? I don't care. Guys today are different. I don't care what color your cell phone or phone you use, or what color your nails are. I just care whether or not you can play football. And I know this from watching USC the last 2 years. Caleb Williams the best quarterback since Trevor Lawrence. And I don't think this would take long. I don't think this would take long one iota. I think the Bears would take Caleb Williams. Chicago needs a quarterback in the division where the Lions made championship Sunday. Green Bay looks like a formidable force. And the Vikings are one quarterback away from being really decent. The Bears need a quarterback. I mean, frankly, Chicago has never put together a 4,000-yard passing season. Caleb Williams could bring Chicago its first true franchise quarterback since what? Sid Luckman or who was the Jim McMahon for the '85 Bears? The Bears. So the Bears finally get their franchise quarterback. At two, the Washington Commanders. Ike Washington can go one of two ways, but the more and more I think about it, the Commanders will take LSU Shane Daniels. Because I look at Cliff Kingsbury's offense, it favors an LPO offense, having that run pass threat. Obviously, look what Cliff did with Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, and Caleb Williams with USC. While Jane Daniels might not be Caleb Williams as a passer, he's certainly as explosive, if not more explosive than Caleb. So, and yes, I think Drake May is better, but for this offense, Shane Daniels probably fits the Commanders more. So I think Shane Daniels will end up in Atlanta. And now 3 with New England. This is a real dilemma for the Patriots because I think New England could do one or three things. I think New England could take Drake May, potentially take Marvin Harrison, or move back because New England needs everything under maybe a running back and a corner. And part of me thinks the Patriots might go option C and move back. And there's one team in particular that needs a quarterback. And that team resides in Minnesota because the Vikings have got 11-23. And while New England may look to take a quarterback at 3, the Patriots have historically moved back on draft day. And the Patriots may think, you know what? Let's get extra picks, whether it be this year or next year, and potentially set ourselves up for a better future. So I think Minnesota will move up for a quarterback, whether it be 3 or 5. I think the Vikings will trade 11-23. In this mock draft, I have the Vikings trading with New England. So now Minnesota's on the clock, and I have the Vikings taking North Carolina's Drake May. I think very similar to Justin Herbert, 6'4", 230, big arm, can move, former basketball player in high school. 2 years, I mean, better in 22, not that great in 23, but if it were me, Kevin O'Connell's one of the best young, if not the best young coaches in football. Put him there with Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, and Sam Darnold. While it seems like he may be little reckless, might be able to teach Drake May how to play. So I think Drake May will be a Minnesota Viking. And then 4 of Arizona, again, potential trade back scenario. But the Arizona Cardinals need to give Kyler Murray another weapon. And I hear there's one from Ohio State, the Ohio State University. Marvin Harrison Jr. Simple. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best wide receiver in this draft, and I think there's a strong possibility he could be a top 8 to 10 wide receiver from day one. He could be Calvin Johnson, Jamar Chase, Randy Moss, Julio Jones. He's that good. I don't care about his 40-yard dash. On tape, he was the best route runner and could win those 50-50 balls. Double, triple, quadruple team, didn't matter. Marvin Harrison's that good. So now we're up to number 5, and the LA Chargers. Boy, LA would love Marvin Harrison on the board, but I think in this scenario, the Chargers move back. And I think New England moves up. Let me see, for J.J. McCarthy. I mean, whether you think J.J. McCarthy's the number 5 pick, I think New England needs to get a quarterback. I mean, Jacoby Brissett's probably not the long-term answer. I think J.J. McCarthy makes a lot of sense for the Patriots, and the Chargers need draft picks. And a team could very well, whether it be for McCarthy or May, move in front of the Giants because New York very well may take it. Now, for the Giants, obviously the top 4 quarterbacks are gone. I don't think New York would take Bo Nix or Michael Penix at 6, maybe the back half of the first round. But in this mock, I have the Giants taking Malik Neighbors from LSU. Obviously, the Giants have done pretty well going down the LSU receiver route. Odell Beckham, Malik Neighbors is a big play receiver down the field. Big, fast, yak guy. He could be the next great Giant receiver, whether it's a quarterback or a receiver. The Giants have to get better on offense. That offense was putrid with Saquon Barkley last year, and it's not getting any better. I mean, Darren Waller may very well retire. So the Giants need playmakers. 7 at Tennessee. I think Tennessee drafts the first lineman, Joel for Notre Dame. I think Joel is a plug-and-play left tackle for a decade. I mean, Notre Dame does a great job producing and developing linemen, and Joel is the next great tackle from Notre Dame. The Titans need more protection from their young for Will Evans. Obviously drafted Skoronski from Northwestern last year. I think the Titans get Joel. And Mr. Levis gets more protection. And so 8. Are the Falcons going to draft another wide receiver or skilled possession guy? I mean, they drafted Kyle Pitts, drafted Drake London, drafted Bijan Robinson. But in this draft, I think the Atlanta Falcons go pass rusher and take Dallas Turner. While this draft could be historically big on offense, there are some impactful pass rushers, and I think the Falcons get one. I mean, Atlanta seemingly can't get any pressure on the quarterback. So, I mean, Falcons got their quarterback, at least for the short term, in Kirk Cousins. Really good offensive line. Drake London, Pitts, Bijan just need help on defense. So I think Dallas Turner makes a lot of sense. Obviously played, 18 SC championship games. So Falcons people would have seen him. And then 9, this is tricky because the Bears could go pass rush, but I think if Chicago stays here, the Bears will look to draft Rome Medusa, one of my favorite players in the draft. I think Rome Medusa could be the next great wide receiver for the Bears. I mean, they've got DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Rome Medusa feels like a bigger, maybe faster Keenan Allen. Yeah, certainly younger. So now we are at the number 10 pick in Big D's first mock draft, and the Jets on the clock. What would New York do? I think the Jets could go tackle, but you know, part of me thinks the New York Jets will take Brock Bowers from Georgia because Brock Bowers is one of the best football players in the draft. I don't care about his 40-yard dash. He can block. He can run. Yak guy. You could even have him on reverses. I mean, he feels like a faster TJ Hawkinson. And yes, but he's wary about taking wide receivers this early. But Brock Bowers is that good. I think Brock Bowers could be a great tight end from day one. And, I mean, the Jets have got Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and Mike Williams. What better way to help a 40-year-old quarterback off a torn Achilles than get Brock Bowers? And so 11, the LA Chargers on the clock. And while I think the Chargers could go a number of different ways, knowing Jim Harbaugh, I think he wants an offensive lineman. And Talawisi Ufanga from Oregon State is that guy. Because he can play both tackle positions, probably play the right with Rashawn Slater in LA, and just solidify the offensive line. Don't worry about the tackle position for a long time. And so 12, the Denver Broncos on the clock. To be honest, I'm intrigued by what the Broncos do at 12 because I think Denver could go a couple different ways. Obviously, Brock Bowers, if he's there, would make a lot of sense because Sean Payton's done well with those kind of guys, Michael Thomas. But honestly, even though the Broncos don't have a second-round pick, I think Denver needs to get his quarterback position filled. And Bo Nix can be Drew Brees 2.0, at least with Sean Payton. I mean, he started 61 games in college. Yeah, he might not be the sexiest quarterback, but floor, he gives a little bit of that run pass upside. So I think Bo Nix in Denver would be very interesting. 13 with the Raiders. I think the Raiders could get a corner, could get a defensive lineman, but honestly, you really think Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew will beat Patrick Mahomes in the AFC West? No. Now I hear that when Al Davis owned the Raiders, he liked guys who could throw the ball deep. When nobody can throw the deep ball better than Michael Penix. I think Penix will be a Raider. He can throw the ball far. And honestly, the Raiders have to make Davante Adams happy. And I think this pick would make him happy because throw the deep ball, open up the offense, make it to where teams can't defend the run, can't play somebody with a corner and a safety over Davante Adams. Now it's like, well, this guy can throw you know what. And so 14, the Saints on the clock. I don't know how the Saints get under the salary cap every year, but the Saints do. I think New Orleans has got to fix the offensive line. One of the tackles from previous drafts is not Wolf. I think it's Trevor Penning. Yeah, Trevor Penning has not worked out, so I think the Saints go back on the offense, go draft an alignment, and Fashanu, the tackle from Penn State, I mean, he's a true left tackle. The guy who, honestly, when the season started, I didn't think he'd be available at 14. I thought he would have been a top 7 or 8 pick. That just shows how things have changed. Obviously, 15, we are now at the Indianapolis Colts. Oh boy. I expect Chris Ballard to draft the best cornerback in this draft, and that is Quinion Mitchell. I think the Colts could go wide receiver if one's available, or Brock Bowers. It wouldn't at all surprise me if the Colts moved up the board. I think the Colts need to draft another wide receiver or pass catcher with Pittman and Anthony Richardson, but Quinion Mitchell in this case makes a lot of sense because he's a plug and play cornerback. And in most drafts, Mitchell's probably a top 10 pick. To get him at 15 feels like great value. So at 16, the Seahawks. Obviously, the quarterbacks are gone. A couple of the offensive linemen are gone. But Seattle needs help on defense. And, I mean, with a defensive-minded head coach, no PK anymore, I think the Seahawks may look to go defense. I'm not saying they will, but I think the Seahawks go get an interior lineman, that being Brian Murphy, be a D lineman from Texas. Because, I mean, you think of those Baltimore Raven teams, they were always great up the middle with Filoni Nana. I think Murphy could give Seattle another big run stuffer and pass rush to really help out that defense, particularly in the division where Seattle didn't have any luck stopping McCaffrey or Kieran Williams this year. So 17, my Jags. Quentin Mission was the guy I really won, but Taylor Nolan's not a bad consolation prize. I mean, Alabama corners. Nick Saban produced a ton of cornerbacks in his day. And I think Terry Long could be the next Alabama defensive back. Jacksonville needs a DB. Could go wide receiver if the corners or maybe a pass rusher. But Ono Mitchell would be a great pick here. And so 18 with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals are in a real interesting spot to get one of these linemen. What that means moving up now, could Brock Bowers somehow fall at him? Probably not. So I think Cincinnati will address the offensive line. I mean, they signed a big tackle from New England, but I don't think he's a long-term guy. I think the Bengals may look to draft a future tackle or guard, and in this case, Troy Fautanu, the lineman from Washington. Whether he's a tackle or guard, I think he makes a lot of sense. Excuse me. And Joe Burrow needs to stay healthy because we want number 9 playing 17 games. So the Rams, I don't remember the Rams having a lot of first round picks lately. So I think the Rams will go defense. I mean, could a quarterback be available? Yes. I think a quarterback, Matthew Stafford's heir apparent, could be there. Maybe later on in the draft. But I think the Rams will stay at home and draft Lieto Latu, the pass rusher from UCLA. Because the Rams still need help on defense. I mean, Aaron Donald's retirement. I mean, Rams drafted a lot of really good rookies last year, and I think LA could look to draft a few more this year. So now we're at the 20s. So, yes, yes, only a couple. Yes, two trades. One with the Vikings moving from 11-3 and New England from 11-5. So now the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock, and I have the Steelers taking Marius Mims. I think the Steelers need to address the offensive line. I know some people may say, "What about an interior lineman?" Doesn't matter, interior or tackle. I mean, the Steelers drafted Broderick Jones last year. I think Pittsburgh goes back to Jordan and gets another tackle. So in 21, the Miami Dolphins on the clock. And I have Miami taking J.C. Latham, the lineman from Alabama. Miami's done pretty well with Alabama players. Tua, Jalen Waddle. I think Miami will look to draft another lineman. I mean, Miami's lost linemen on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Tua is not the most athletic quarterback. Miami's offensive line wasn't great anyway. Latham is a big boy, but could potentially play anywhere on the line. And if you're Miami, Tua's going to get some money. I don't know how big the contract is, but Miami's got to protect Tua at all costs. And so 22 with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I like some of the moves the Eagles have done offensively. Could go offensive line. I mean, Jason Kelsey retired. Lane Johnson's not getting any younger. But Philly's secondary was wretched last year. The Eagles' defensive backs couldn't hit water if they fell off a boat. Philly, I mean, the FGCU 30 Birds defended wide receivers better than the Philadelphia Eagles did last year. So I think the Eagles will draft Cooper DeJean from Iowa. Iowa's always plays great defense, and Cooper DeJean will give Philadelphia some much needed youth in his secondary. So 23. I mean, Chargers have already gotten their tackle for longer. I think LA gives Justin Herbert another weapon, this being Brian Thomas, the wide receiver from LSU. Big yak guy. I mean, you could argue why LSU and Ohio State are the two big wide receiver schools. So I think Brian Thomas, for this point in the draft, is really good value. The Chargers need wide receivers after letting Keenan Allen and Mike Williams basically go. So I'm 24 with the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys could go in a number of areas. I think they could go edge rusher. I think they could go tackle. I think they could go offensive line. Because, honestly, Cowboys haven't done anything this offseason. I mean, Jerry Jones said the Cowboys will call it all in. Yeah, all in and doing what? They haven't even signed Michael Paulson and CeeDee Lamb yet. So, Cowboys need a lot. And I think Graham Baldwin, the center from Duke, makes a lot of sense here. I mean, yes, a couple of the corners, maybe the defensive line from Illinois and Donnie Mitchell, but I think Graham Baldwin makes the most sense here. Because the Cowboys' interior line, I mean, whether Thomas Smith can play left tackle in this exercise remains a mystery, but the Cowboys have to address the offensive line. I mean, Zach Mullen's not getting any younger. Already a couple guys out the door. Center to Washington, Tom Smith to New York. The Cowboys have to address the O-line at all costs. And so 25, Green Bay's got two areas in need. Corner and tackle. And Nate Wiggins from Clemson makes a lot of sense here. Because Green Bay last year struggled to cover wide receivers. I mean, seemed like every big wide receiver have fun against the Packers defense. So the Packers have to get another corner. I think Nate Wiggins, but again, could this be a trade up scenario? I mean, Green Bay's got 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. Could this be a trade up where a team moves back? Maybe the Packers move up and get, an Ono Mitchell. And so 26, the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think the Bucks could go a number of areas, but Jared Verse feels like way too good of a value here. He feels like, Bucks need to get some young pass rushers. I think Verse at this point in the draft feels like a great value. Florida, Bucks have got a great history drafting Florida State or players from Florida. So, first, well, maybe being, a 1-year wonder, could be worth the gamble at 26. I wouldn't draft him like 8, but he might be worth it at the back half of the first round. And so 27, obviously Arizona Cardinals here got Marvin Harrison Jr., so I believe Arizona gets another young cornerback. The Cardinals could go anywhere. They could draft another pass rusher, another defense line. But I think Kool-Aid McKinstry is the guy here. Because, Johnny Gannon wants help on defense, so give him another corner. And now the Bills. I think the Bills need about 10 wide receivers. Stephon Diggs, gone. Gabriel Davis, gone. So I think Buffalo will look to get a wide receiver, and that guy is the Donnie Mitchell. He's a big play waiting to happen, whether at Georgia or Texas. He can make some big plays. And for the Bills, he needs to be a good route runner. I think he's got that. People say, what about Xavier Worthy? I think Mitchell's a better route runner, and for the Bills, knowing Josh Allen can throw the ball really, really full, you need someone with speed and good route running ability. And Adonai Mitchell brings a bit of Gabe Davis and a bit of Steph Diggs. So, 29, the Detroit Lions. I think Detroit could go a number of areas. But the Lions don't need to rush for anything. If a corner's there, maybe move up a few spots, a pass rusher. But in this case, I have the Lions drafting Terzon Newton, the defensive lineman from Illinois. Again, feels like a really good value. I mean, yes, the Lions signed some defensive line in the all season, but you can never have enough. And this guy could really solidify that D line. Now that D line, with Aiden Hutchinson, with Marcus Davenport, with DJ Reader they signed from the Bengals, really makes the choice defensive line deep, athletic, agile, and versatile. And if you're a defense coordinator, having a line that can block and run, I mean, that can stop the run and rush the quarterback will make life so much better. So, 30, the Baltimore Ravens. I think Baltimore will be a fascinating team to watch on draft day because I think the Ravens need a corner. I think the Ravens need an offensive lineman and maybe another wide receiver. But right now, I have the Ravens taking Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. I mean, Morgan Moses is in New York now. Ronnie Stanley restructured his deal, so you wonder how long he's there. I think Tyler Guyton fits a critical need for the Ravens because they need someone who could play left and right tackle. I think Guyton can be that guy. Plus, we know the Ravens love running the ball, so Guy being that tackle could be huge for Baltimore. And so, 31, the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, San Francisco was so close to the Super Bowl last year. Who knows if Brandon Ayuk's even on the Niners by the draft day, but I think the San Francisco 49ers draft a wide receiver here. Whether Brandon Ayuk is still on the team or not. Because I think Brandon Ayuk may very well end up somewhere else. Whether it's Buffalo, I mean, that could be a trade post-draft because Buffalo will get, 18 million in cap savings on June 1st. So that might be a post-draft deal. I think the San Francisco 49ers draft one of my favorite players in this draft, and that's Land McConkey, the receiver from Georgia. I think people are going to look at these wide receivers differently from Georgia, from Michigan, because, they didn't throw the ball a ton. I don't think people are going to sleep on Land McConkey like they did Cooper Kupp coming out of Eastern Washington or Puka Nacua coming out of Brigham Young. I'm not saying Land McConkey will be Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua, but if he ends up with a really good offensive mind head coach, Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan, look out because this guy was really good at Georgia, and I think he'd be really good for somebody in the NFL. And then the Kansas City Chiefs. I know everybody will say the Chiefs are going to draft a wide receiver with the Rasheed Rice, but I think if I'm Kansas City, and I think Kansas City will draft a tackle. I don't have the Chiefs taking a wide receiver at 32. Now, if one's available, maybe. But I think the Chiefs take Jordan Morgan, the tackle from Arizona. So, in my first round mock draft, I have the Bears taking Caleb Williams, the Commanders taking Jane Daniels, the Vikings trading with New England to take Drake May, the Arizona Cardinals taking Marvin Harrison, the Patriots taking J.J. McCarthy at 5, The New York Giants taking Malik Neighbors. Tennessee takes tackle Jalal. Atlanta takes Dallas Turner. The Bears pair Caleb Williams with Roma Duzé. The Jets take Brock Bowers. 11, that would be the Chargers with Tadisi Ufaka. 12, the Bo Nix. 13, with 12, the Broncos taking Bo Nix. 13, the Raiders with Michael Penix. 14, Fashanu, the Penn State tackle in New Orleans. 15, Quinion Mitchell, Toledo. 16, Byron Murphy from Texas. The Jags taking Terrion Arnold. The Cincinnati Bengals taking Washington's Troy Fatano at 18. Then Latu at 19, staying in LA. The Steelers taking Mims at 20. The Dolphins taking Jason Latham at 21. Cooper DeJean, Iowa corner 22. Ryan Thomas, LSU wideout 23. Graham Barton at 24. The Packers taking Nate Wiggins at 25. Jared Verse, the pass rusher from Florida State at 26. Kool-Aid at 27. The Bills taking Donnie Mitchell at 28. Jerson Newton 29. Tyler Guyton at 30. And then closing out the first round, Land McConkey in San Francisco at 31. And then the Chiefs taking Arizona's Jordan Morgan at 32. That's a lot of tackles. That's a lot of wide receivers. A lot of quarterbacks. Now, will 6 quarterbacks go in the first round? No. In fact, I think 5 will. One of Bo Nix or Michael Penix will probably drop out. Maybe a team moves up late and gets that 50th, but I think there's a possibility you could see somebody moving up for one of these guys. Obviously, the wide receivers will be coming off the board. I mean, tackles, I think the record for, I think 2009 produced the most offensive players in one first round of 19? And I think this is very high likelihood we will break it with 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks, a number of wide receivers, a number of linemen, Brock Bowers. Sorry, no running backs. There might not be any in round 2. All the running backs will come off the board maybe in round 3. But, I think this is a deep, a talented, and a really fast draft. I mean, a draft where, if you need a corner, you can get one. A wide receiver. So if you need a safety or a running back, those aren't available. But I think it's going to be a fun draft to see. And, if anybody's got comments, hit me up on Twitter at DylanEdSports1, Facebook, Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page, Drive to the Top Productions, because it's going to be fast. It's going to be fun seeing what happens, because who knows what happens. Maybe the Vikings stay and draft J.J. McCarthy at 11. Maybe the Patriots take Marvin Harrison at 3, and then we're like, what's going on? What's going on? Maybe the Commanders take Drake May at 2. It's going to be a fascinating draft to see. So, thanks for tuning in to Big D's first live mock draft. Driving to the Top Productions here on the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page. All my social medias, Facebook, Twitter, at DylanEdSports1, Twitch. So you check me out there. So this is the Big D signing off, but we'll have more video streams leading up to draft day in Detroit.